Hey everyone, Tony here, and I'm looking much better than my last video. In this video, I'll be comparing and contrasting 4 music selections. The Rite of Spring, Pace of Pace Mio Dio, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and Milonga del Angel. Let's get to it! The first set is The Rite of Spring. Now, The Rite of Spring is a ballet and orchestra concert written in 1913 and performed at the Théâtre des Champs-Élysées in Paris, France. It was composed by Igor Stravinsky, who was born in June 1882 and died in April 1981. May he rest in peace. The story behind The Rite of Spring is that it depicts the emergence of spring, about a young girl who was chosen and sacrificed by dancing to her death. The reason for that, however, I don't even know, despite all the research I've done so far. One of the most historical events in 1913 was the completion of the Federal Reserve Act, which aimed to stabilize the financial system, which I think is pretty good. You gotta save that money! The construction of this music is that it's like Russian folk music, but it goes beyond its traditional harmonies. Some people would refer to as avant-garde or innovative in its time. Stravinsky purposely used sonic chords and chromaticisms with complex rhythms that makes it seem uneasy and unpredictable. But despite doing that, his music still reflects Russian folk music, but not so much that it's obvious. The significance of this piece was that it was the first example of 20th century modernism in music, and later influenced composers that came after Stravinsky, such as Aaron Copland, Bela Bartok, and Pierre Boulez. Talk about a triple threat. Now, my interpretation of this music is probably what you'd expect after you've seen it. Unlike your modern day ballet, which is typically beautiful and graceful, this ballet in particular is more chaotic and unsettling. The dance gestures are more conflicting. They're basically jumping, stomping, and flailing their arms around, and their outfits are a bit inappropriate if you ask me, compared to ballerinas today, although their footwear are somewhat similar. Frankly, this music makes me feel scared and cautious. Sorry, Ollie and Masha, for you have to hear that. Now, onto the second piece, Pese Pese Mio Dio from La Forza del Destino. This piece is an Italian opera created by Giuseppe Verdi, born in October 1813 and died January 1901. Wow, that guy had some beard. And was premiered in St. Petersburg, Russia in 1862. A historical event in 1862 was the Battle of Antietam in Sharpsburg, Maryland, and after the Union forces gained their victory, that allowed President Abraham Lincoln to issue the Emancipation Proclamation. The construction of this music was that it was set in the Romantic era. The music and lyrics are in Italian, and the singer Lenora, her tone of voice was very loud and boisterous, reflecting on the drama and emotions that she was reflecting on the music. The significance of this music was how her high soprano voice made the music more dramatic and passionate that reflected her intense emotions of wanting peace of mind and redemption after experiencing a series of tragic events. My interpretation of this music was how its tone was calming and sad at the same time. But the singer's emphasis on those emotions with the higher pitch and the loud register really leaves an impact on you and really sticks with you for quite some time. While these two sets are very unique by themselves, they surprisingly have some similarities to them. Like how both pieces were either composed or performed in Russia in the 19th century, they had characters experiencing a tragic event, they had dramatic dynamics in orchestration, emotional depth, and not only that, but their loud and intense sounds from their music or singing actually tells a story. Now, where were we? If you think that was good, then that was just the beginning of what I have in store. The next music set I'll be discussing is actually Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. And no, it's not the classic children's lullaby that we all know and love. This version is actually an aria for the orchestra Puzzles and Games, which was played in the Alice in Wonderland opera written in 2007 by Eun-Suk Shin, who was born on July 1961 in Seoul, Korea. An important historical context in 1961 was the first manned spaceflight by astronaut Yuri Gagarin. What a legend! Anyway, this was constructed to be a playful and multi-layered piece that begins slowly and immediately speeds up with the singer singing at C sharp and being completely atonal, meaning they followed no melodies or harmonies, just like the music itself. What is significant about this music is that the composer Unsuk Chin is more unique than the composers we've discussed so far. She is a female composer, while the other composers have been male. She is still alive and well, and is well known for her complex contemporary music that differs from her Korean traditions. This piece, along with her other work, reflects on how she aims to test the limits of musicians and how well they can do outside of their comfort zones. It was shaped by her Korean origins and her studies with Georgi Ligeti in Germany. As a result, she won the Arnold Schoenberg Award for modeling her work after him. The song catches you by surprise once the song speeds up, and it's hard to keep up with the singer's voice, which reflects on the nonsense wonder in the world of Alice in Wonderland. The last piece of music I will be discussing is Milonga del Angel. This music is part of the Angel series composed by Astor Piazzolla, born in March 1921 and died in July 1992 in Argentina, and recorded it in 1965. A historical moment in 1965 was the Voting Rights Act, which allowed non-discrimination in voting. The music construction is that it is a milonga dance music style, a proto-tango with a 3/2 clave rhythm that features a type of accordion called a bandoneon. The music is emotional and sentimental as it depicts the story of an angel who heals broken spirits but later dies in a knife fight. This was a significant piece in Argentinian tango and the beginning of Piazzolla's new style, Nuevo Tango, a blend of tango, classical, and jazz music, which was turned down by the very traditional Argentinians. And my interpretation of this piece is that it makes me feel sad but sympathetic at the same time. You can also picture it in a dramatic scene in a movie. What makes these two unique pieces similar to each other is that both composers were born somewhere around the 19th century. They had complexities and emotional depth applied in their simple frameworks, which makes them more challenging. They styled original music material in their own unique way, and they had such mental and emotional impact. This concludes my final exam video project, and I gotta say, researching and editing this video was very exhausting, but I hope you guys had fun watching this and learned some stuff about the music I presented. See you again soon!